Before I begin, I know I'm a bit late on this, but Del Wilkes, better known as the Patriot, passed away a few days ago at the age of 59. He was trained by the Fabulous Moolah as well as Vern Gagne, and started out in Vern Gagne's AWA during the last couple of years of the company, and was one half of the last recognized AWA Tag Team Champions. He had a trooper gimmick, but found much more success once he got the Patriot gimmick. That mask, it fit him perfectly. He had a great body, he had a great look. He found success in a couple stints in All Japan Pro Wrestling. Had some brief success in WCW, teaming up with Marcus Alexander Bagwell as part of the team Stars and Stripes. That didn't last long. Went back to All Japan and then went to WWE, where he really should have fit in a whole lot better, but they didn't really know what to do with him. But man, he had a great match with Bret Hart. How could you not have a great match with Bret Hart? And then injuries pretty much finished off his career right there, and he hadn't wrestled since 1998. So he had a great look. Rest in peace, Patriot. You will not be forgotten. Had a hell of a look. And also, rest in peace, Richard Donner, longtime Hollywood director, Lethal Weapon. You know, he's directed a lot of goddamn, Superman. He's directed a lot of goddamn movies. Take a look at his IMDb. It would take too long to go through it. But he was 91 years old, and he had a hell of a career. Sure, some ups and downs, but he directed a lot more good movies than he directed bad ones. So let's just enjoy some Richard Donner movies, and rest in peace, Richard Donner. Now, I'm John Rickman with my review of WWE NXT Great American Bash 2021. And all I'm going to say about part of the show is the West Texas Rednecks were right. And if you know, you know. So I will say that this show, it was decent to good at times, but I'm going to have some criticisms that some people may not agree with. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. So we have a video package on the card tonight. And it's kind of funny given the timing, but the sponsor was Bud Light Seltzer. Given the fact that Jimmy Uso just got another DUI, I want to say really quickly before I dive too far into the review, addiction is a disease. Substance abuse is a disease. I've dealt with many people that have had alcoholism, issues, that have had drug issues, and I'm not going to name names. They've gotten clean. It has been a struggle, and I credit them for that. It's tough to get through it. Jimmy, there needs to be an intervention by his friends and families. Ultimately, it's up to the person to get help. But WWE has a rehab, like they pay for rehab. He's got to go to rehab. And if he says no, they might have to release him. Like this is, multiple times in a few year period. This could, regardless of what he's doing in wrestling, the timing couldn't be any worse as far as perception, because it seemed like he was getting better. He can't be behind the wheel until he can be trusted to do stuff. I feel bad for his kids. I feel bad for Naomi. I just feel bad in general. Ultimately, it's his responsibility. He needs to shape up. He needs to have this be a wake-up call. And bit by bit, day by day, it will not be an easy journey, but he will get through it. But otherwise, I hate to say it, they're going to have to do something drastic, because something needs to be done before somebody gets hurt. Not just him, but somebody else. It's a disease. It needs to be treated like a goddamn disease, but enough is enough, and it's time for a change. So anyway, yeah, the Bud Light Seltzer sponsor wasn't exactly fantastic. It wasn't great timing, but anyway, MSK versus Ciampa and Thatcher, NXT tag titles. Now, Ciampa and Thatcher were the heels here. They did heel spots. They did heel work, clubbing blows, cutting the ring off, and doing all that tag team stuff. And they got cheered like crazy. Why the CWC crowd doesn't care about MSK, I have no idea. Maybe it's because they're in a venue that has 3 letters, and they don't like that MSK has 3 letters. It's about as good an explanation as any. MSK, we haven't been given a huge reason to care about them, even though Carter is, he's trying to honor his, family's memory. Like, I believe his dad wanted him to become a wrestler. He wanted to, show his dad that he could do it, and his dad unfortunately passed away before he could see him achieve that dream, and that's a shame, and hence the emotional NXT tag title win. But this was probably actually, in all honesty, the best work, match of the night. Yes, it did have a few too many times where there were a couple too many kickouts. This will be a recurring theme. In fact, this should have been called Great American Bash 2021, Move Spamming the Musical. But MSK has delivered a lot of really good matches this year. They're a really good team. They were great as the Rascals in Impact. And Ciampa and Thatcher glom them a lot. MSK do fire back. The crowd is just booing the fuck out of MSK for no reason. Lee's legal. Legal. Is that legal? So miscommunication with Thatcher and Ciampa. Oh, is that going to lead to a dodgy finish? Are they going to, become foes again? Who knows? Double knees for 2. Then we get move spam, and we get a spiral tap, very beautifully done by Lee. And then Thatcher stops that. And then, we get a fairy tale ending, and then the ankle lock, and then, we get a glom right into Thatcher being knocked out of that. And after all this stuff that should have just knocked anybody out for like a 10 count, the most devastating maneuver in all professional wrestling, surprise roll-up, 1, 2, 3, and then show respect. After all that, the surprise roll-up. That being said, this was a good match, and you could run this back with Ciampa and Thatcher being even more heelish. You could go with the tornado tag thing, and they could get back to MSK, because I don't think Ciampa and Thatcher need to win the tag titles, but this was pretty good. Yeah, there were a few too many move spamming, but don't worry, it's going to get a whole lot worse later. Cole and O'Reilly arrive. Gee, I wonder if you can guess what match I'm going to talk about. Joe and Regal are out in the ring. Regal calls out Cross and Gargano. Cross says, I have strong convictions. Yeah, you do. You're friends with the wrong Drake in wrestling, you fucking idiot. Querying Cross. Cross is pretty good in the ring. Here's the thing. His entrance is smoke and mirrors, and they have Mark Marrow this fucker already. All due respect to Mark Marrow, it's just they made it all about his woman, and that's what they're going to do with Cross. And then at one point he says, well, I have strong convictions. I get up and I do all this stuff or whatever. What do you get up and do, Gargano? Put on your wife's pants? I mean, it was wife's jeans. I mean, to be fair, they are tight jeans, but I go, oh, okay, that's where we're going to go. Then he says, people like you. Triple H really did write this. And Gargano did get off one funny line, even though I have no desire to see this feud. It's funny you mentioned my wife's pants, considering you can't even lace my wife's boots. Everybody's just taking the piss out of Cross. I think they know he's an idiot, and they're just making him like a fool. They're not showing it they're scared of him. Once the bell rings, maybe they show they're scared of him, but like before that, they just make him look like a piece of shit, which, to be honest, outside the ring, he kind of is. I mean, if you're going to have the same views as Drake Wirtz, you deserve to be made fun of. So anyway, Cross and Gargano, with Joe as a special guest referee, is going to happen next week. And Joe can't attack unless provoked. They are really banking on Joe being cleared to face Cross pre-SummerSlam takeover. Get vaccinated unless you're a science-denying idiot, or you just want to ignore the fact that some wrestlers support the insurrection attempt on January 6th. Fuck every single one of you people, and yes, I mean you people. You specifically. So, LA Knight versus Cameron Grimes. $1 Million championship match. If Grimes loses, he has to become Knight's butler. And man, they really put some effort in here. Much like the ladder match, I didn't give a shit. Knight can cut really good promos, he can work, Grimes can work. The crowd wanted Grimes to win. They got some good offense in, but if I didn't care about the feud going into the ladder match, why is this going to change my mind? So, it was well-paced, and a not-so-burning hammer for two, as I called it, and then the Poison Ranas. Stop with the motherfucking Poison Ranas. And then DDT on the title outside because Knight had gotten the title, but it had gotten knocked on the floor. And then Grimes gets back in, and then he hits his weird finish, the BFT, I think is what the fuck it's called. 1, 2, 3. And then Knight says, oh, you're going to have to clean up a whole lot of stuff. I hope you brought your plunger. Dakota and Raquel are there, and Mackenzie has her eye on Dakota's pink. I will let you decide if it's up here or anyway. And Amber Moon, I don't know why I made her Scottish. I apologize for that. So they were talking about like, oh, why are they why can't we have our title shot, even though like Raquel has the goddamn NXT Women's Championship, and Dakota cut her off subtly enough to hint that we're probably going to get that match. It's a pre-SummerSlam takeover. Breakout tournament field: Carmelo Hayes, Trey Baxter, Andre Chase, easy for me to say. Josh Briggs, wasn't he named in the Speaking Out movement? Yes, he was. Fuck that idiot. So, that Jiro guy. Ikemen Jiro, I think it's how it's said. Icarus Jiro, that's what I'm going to call him now. Joe Gacy, without the clown makeup, like another Gacy. Odyssey Jones, and Duke Hudson. I swear I should know more of these people, but I don't recognize them. So anyway, what in the bastardized Icarus, speaking of Icarus, was Candice wearing? So Candice and Indy took on Io and Zoe. Women's tag title match. Man, way too many titles. So, starts out decent. The crowd was into Io. Who wouldn't want to be into Io? Phrasing. Indy looked good. And in the ring as well. But seriously, Indy has shined. Candice can work. She's just not interesting. Get double teaming. Zoe gets just a stiff kick on Candice's face. It got messy near the end, but that doesn't mean it was dull. This was well worked enough. And then suddenly, oh, the phone charge, it's fully charged. Who is it? It's Tegan Nox, and her ACL snaps again. It's going to be the new Nash's quad. I hope that Tegan's going to be okay, but seriously, 3 ACL injuries in 3 years. Maybe it's 3 and 4 years, whatever the fuck it is. So suddenly, Candice is distracted. Indy gets pinned by Zoe and topped by her 1, 2, 3. New champions. And then Tegan chases Candice. I hope that this works out and that Candice can have a long career, but I'm just worried that her leg is literally hanging on by a thread. As much as modern science has come along, Father Time's undefeated, the human body can only take so much. Tony wants to come on Raquel. I think I heard that right, or maybe that's just that dream I had. Dexter and Indy reunite during the break, and Beth just loves overselling it, which is funny. So, I'm just going to say right now the West Texas Rednecks were right. Hit Row with a celebration rap. I want to say right now, if you guys enjoy this, great. I love Swerve. I give... that Adonis guy is fine. I give 2 shits if the girl's an actual rapper. It's not for me. I don't like seeing that, bigger guy who was in, who was hosting WWE's Most Wanted Treasures. He was a goddamn annoying trash heap there. This was bullshit. And yes, I have praised Max Caster's, raps on AEW, but they also only go a minute, and they may not be the best, but they're entertaining enough, and they're short. This went for fucking ever. I know they're supposed to be heels. Oh, you're supposed to hate them. No, I hit the mute button a few times. Because I was like, I don't want to fucking hear this. Get this shit. Mini concerts, even the poppy ones, got on my nerves after a bit. These mini concerts should not be fucking happening. It's like when Flow Rider, did Dwayne, the Rock, the Dwayne Johnson's entrance. Man, that one, Machine Gun Kelly, that's what the fuck his name is. The one that Kevin Owens tossed off the stage later. That guy was even worse. My God, he was worse. There are ways to have music in wrestling. This was not it. They look like they were having fun. And again, if this is for you, fine. But I hate rap. Rap is crap. Oh, I hate rap. And Hit Row may be one of my least favorite stables in WWE. If we take in the totality of AEW New Japan, they're probably not even in the top 5. But seriously, this was fun. I fucking hated this. I love Swerve, but no. Fucking no. Regal and Joe give a rundown of the results. And then we get to O'Reilly and Cole for the last time until the next time for the first time. Here's a question. They had an unsanctioned match and now they're working backwards to a regular match. Okay, so if I'm going to complain about what AEW did with the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle having blood and guts and then going to Stadium Stampede, now doing the singles matches to work towards Jericho and MJF, then I got to criticize it here. This is well worked. I didn't give a shit. They move spam. Good psychology working on the knees. Good psychology with the submissions. I didn't care. Ultimately, I didn't care. Your neck is not meant to bend that way. Chris Benoit has entered the chat. Panama Sunrise outside. It's like broken up by O'Reilly getting his foot on the rope. Missed knee drop. Last shot for 2. O'Reilly will not stay down. And then Panama Sunrise off the ropes. And then the last shot, 1, 2, 3. Cool. I'm sorry, but all the move spamming, it gets old. No matter what company, no matter how good the talents are. I didn't hate the show, but that main event, if they hadn't had the unsanctioned match, I might have liked it more. But is this a match of the year candidate? Not to me. If it is to you, that's great. But yeah, that Hit Row concert pretty much took me out of the goddamn show and tainted this show because it was shit. Because I hate rap. Rap is crap. And oh, I hate rap. Anyway, so agree, disagree with what I said. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.